What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be covering one of the most frustrating things that happens on a tennis court. You got the passing shot lined up, the person's at the net, and you know you can make it, and for whatever reason, they always just seem to either be able to cover it, or you just keep dropping it in the net, or you keep missing it. We're going to be covering the different things that are going to help you become a very clean and effective passer. Let's get into it. So before we get into this, guys, I draw a lot of my inspiration for the teaching that I do from the lessons and the students that I work with, whether they're adults or juniors. And in the comment section, there were some people who were commenting saying, it's really easy for me to do stuff because I've played at a certain level and I have a certain level of experience, which to a certain degree is true. So in the coming videos, I'm gonna start featuring students that I call just your average players, not these people that have been training since they were 3, 4, 5, not these people that are all-star athletes. We're talking normal high school students, normal recreational adults, and I'll be using them in the videos just so you guys can see that a lot of the stuff that we work on is transferable and it's not just something that a top athlete is capable of. So today I'm actually bringing in one of my junior players who plays for the local high school. Her name's Maya. She is 15 last time I checked, and her UTR rating is somewhere between a 2 and a 3. So everything we do for practicing passing shots today is actually going to be completely relevant for any level. If I can do it with her, anybody will be able to do it. Maya, let's just slide over here so everybody can see you. Normal person. That's all it is. So me and Maya are going to run through 3 or 4 exercises, and then we'll play live and we'll work on those same skills. Now we're going to get into it. So before we get started, there are 4 different ways to pass. 5 if you count the lob, but I'm not doing that one today. Lobbing is a whole different thing altogether. You've got down the line. We're going to be working on the forehand today with Maya. You've got down the line, you've got through the middle, and you've got cross court. Now, when you go through each one of these zones, you have to hit the ball a specific way. One of them has 2 options, which I'm going to explain in a minute. The exercise we're going to use is going to use a little bit of equipment. Here's how you run through the whole thing. So the setup you're going to need for this exercise is just going to be 2 poles that you place in the net like this, and that is it. We're going to be using these as reference points for our targets and how the person will be covering the court, and then from there we'll go into the tactics that we use for it. So this exercise is actually pretty simple. We have the court broken up into 3 zones, and our target is to get the ball to travel through each one, but when we hit through each one of those zones, we have to hit the ball a specific way to make sure that A, the ball stays in, but B, the shot's actually effective based on where our opponent would be. So when Maya's running through these exercises, I'm going to be telling her not just where to aim, but what type of shot goes through those zones. And when you're playing singles, if you remember these easy tactics or the way the ball has to change, you'll start to understand why your shots may be getting picked off when you play against people who are approaching the net. So for this first one, Maya's job is just to take the ball through the middle zone. I haven't given her any rules as of yet. She's just going to take a ball that goes to the side and try to aim through the poles just like that. Every shot she hits, no real rules to it. She has to just aim through that middle zone. Now, her forehand is her strength, but it's still something that isn't necessarily blowing the doors off the building. Perfect. When you go through the middle zone, your job has to be to actually lower the trajectory of the ball. So what I want you to do this time is, whether you make it or miss it, I want you to make sure your ball doesn't go anywhere near the top of those poles. Got it? Good. Don't worry about it. Hit the net or hit the tape. That's the shot right there. Straight through. All right. Try not to recover at the same time. Hold. Because when you start to lean back to the middle, that shot starts to lift. When that ball gets lifted, what happens? And then the person would have plenty of time to bring the shot down. When you try to pass through the middle, time is the thing you have to make sure your opponent doesn't have. Ready? Hit through that shot. Recovering to the middle, hit through. Good. Straight at the net. Too high. One more time. I want you to go for the big one here. Big rip. Too high. Straight through. That's the one. That's the one you want to hit right there. That ball has to go through the court. And when you hit through the court, what ends up happening is either the person gets it, but the ball is lower than the height of the net and they have to pick it up, or the ball's too fast and they end up having to not be able to reach it. All right, so we're now going to hit down the line, and when she hits down the line, there actually is a difference in the rules. She's allowed to hit the ball low and hard, or she can hit the ball higher than the poles. She just doesn't want that middle range. Ready? Whichever one you choose. That's good, really good, perfect. Remember, same thing though, don't recover at the same time. Don't recover, stay, hit through. That's it. Ready? One more time. Stay, hit through. Now, you gotta have confidence in your shot, because if you don't have confidence, you'll start to kind of pull it towards your body. Once it starts pulling towards your body, your ball veers back into the court. I'd rather you miss it into the alley and just get confident pushing the ball out to this side. Ready? Nope. See where that ball ended up? That means the person doesn't have to move that much. That's it. Miss it in the alley. Too easy. Too easy. Missed it in the alley. Why is it going back to the middle though? Exactly. If you pull that rack, even if you swing perfectly, your body moving makes that racket move across. Okay? Reach through. That's more like it. Confidently miss in the alley. Biggest reason why people poach passing, I mean not poach, but people are able to get passing shots, we either go for conservative targets or we get tentative, and then the person is able to confidently capitalize on those shots. So the reason why it's important that you drive through the middle is because when a person poaches in the middle, if the ball sits high, they're able to drop the ball down and create an easy angle as the person tries to pass. Most times when you're covering a passing shot that you've hit as an approach over here, you're going to be fading more to this side. So as they move here, that angle's already created and the person's on the other side. Now, when you go and pass the person down the line, you actually get away with lifting it for this reason. The low ball has to be fast because my reach is able to go further on a low shot. So if I was to split right here and take one strong step out, I can reach pretty close to the doubles line, or sorry, to the singles line in one step. But if that passing shot goes high, and that's that same leaning step, I lose that reach. So I have to go further over to get onto that line. So when Maya goes for the passing shot down the line, she's given two options, fast and low, or high enough that the person has to take more steps over. Now there is the danger of, again, the ball sitting up and allowing the person to hit down, but you're kind of weighing out your options on which one you're more comfortable with, because if the person has to move further and your shot's being hit at a good quality, they will probably not get there in time. The only issue that you run into is when people, as we saw with a couple of Maya shots, they don't confidently stay and hit the shot and they try to recover at the same time. That ball starts to veer back this way. Then a high ball would actually get you in trouble because the person would only have to go this far. But if you're confidently able to keep the ball out towards the line, the high passing shot is actually a really good option that most people don't think about. So for our third option, Maya is going to attempt to hit the heavy angle. This is the one that's actually one of the toughest because your body weight's usually going opposite of your target. So there's going to be some technical things that are in there where you're required to get more body rotation and really come up the outside of the ball. Sometimes you'll even see people do this move. It's not necessary, but you can definitely create the spin you need. It's tough to do though. Whatever option Maya decides, this ball has to be heavy. If she hits her normal rally ball usually lands deeper. So if she hits that shot this way, that ball would tend to land in the alley. So you have to be comfortable taking pace off of this shot and really coming around the outside and up the back of the ball. Easy to execute once you understand the mechanics of it, but under pressure, still very difficult. All right, go for it. Drop low, too much power. Up back of the ball slowly. Don't worry about the distance right now, that's it. Make sure you take as much power out of the shot as you can. Slow it up. That's a perfect shot. What's wrong with it? Where did you go through? Exactly. So that heavy ball, slow to the middle, easy for the person to pick off. Ready? Try it again. Slowly up the back. There you go. That's the one. Now you've got 4 options that you can work on. But if you get too much power, what ends up happening? Exactly, ready? Hold still, up, too much power. I don't even have to look back there to see. There you go. Make them feel like that last one. Up, up, slow it down. Up and down. Yes, see? I can tell and hear when you're hitting the right one. When you do that shot right there, under pressure, it's going to be difficult. But if you feel like you can get your right leg stable, that option right there is usually the toughest one to cover, because where's the person usually standing? And actually, they wouldn't be standing in the middle because their approach shot puts you here. So where do they have to move to cover you? They have to move more over this way. So that angle over there is a really strong option, and it's usually the shot that's uncoverable. It's all dependent on the quality of their approach shot. So if their approach shot really pushes you back, you're not going to try that one. If you can get your foot nice and stable, going there would be a lot more guaranteed as a winner, as long as you don't overhit it. So now to use this skill in an actual live situation, me and Maya are going to play a game. I took the poles down halfway, so now the poles are still in the net for reference, but they're not in the way of my visual when I play the point out. What we're going to do is, Maya's job is to pass me 10 times before I make 5 volleys. So there's more pressure on her to make more passing shots, but the benefit is, if you make the shot, 2 out of 3 work in your favor. Either A, you make it and it's a winner, B, you make it and they miss, or C, you make it and they make the shot. But we're only playing one shot. So she tries to pass, I make the volley. She tries to pass, I make the volley. And as we run through it, she'll start to kind of figure out what her options are under pressure, depending on where my feet is, and making the right decision on top of seeing what her options are. All right, so I'm going to be feeding to Maya's forehand every time so she can use the shot she just practiced. And those are the poles that she's using for reference, just for the visual. Every time I feed, I have to start from here, so I'm moving forward as if I was a real approacher. I'm not just standing at the net and camping. And you ready? So she gets that ball. 1 point to her. And I reset back to here. I cover my spot. That's 2. Really good pass. So she's using that high ball really well. Woo. See? Good though. Because it was high, I wasn't able to do anything with it. So all I'm doing is just covering my spot. 3-1. All I'm doing is just covering my spot and seeing what option she comes up with. Think you caught the line. Good shot. Really good shot. This is actually one of her weaker exercises usually. Hold. You're making me look bad on camera. No, keep doing it. That's exactly it. I want you to go for it confidently. Don't just push it in. Hold. So that ball, you didn't really keep it low enough. I just had to hold right here. If you go through the middle, you want me to have to drop my racket down a little bit. So right now, I think the score is 4-2 or 5-2. We'll say it's 5-2. Too high. 5-3. There you go. Oh, no way. Good shot, though. Very nice, very nice. Drop. Oh, you exited too soon. Stay confident on the pass. Hold. What was wrong with that one? Exactly, it came back towards me. If you go line, you have to go line. Ah, for the win, let's go. What was wrong with that one? It wasn't right to me. It was too high. If that ball was lower, I would have had to go faster, but because it sat up, I was able to get to it. Yes? Not heavy and high, heavy. If you go for the angle, you want that ball up and down quickly. You don't want it to sit up here because, again, that gives me time to catch up to it. There you go. Drop. No way. Nice. One more time. Last one. Can she pull it off? Oh, that would have been really good, though. So like you guys saw, not perfect, but very effective in terms of an exercise to practice. You set that up with the right person on each side, and that drill becomes very easy to do over and over again and make minor adjustments. You start to figure out my passing shots are veering too much to the middle, or I'm recovering too much, or I'm hitting that shot too high, or I'm hitting that shot too low. And once you kind of work your way through what your options are, you can set yourself up to practice one specifically, which is what I always say at the end of these videos. Get out and practice things individually. Just to recap, when you go for your passing shots, you basically got 4 options, not counting the lob, obviously. If you go down the line, you hit the ball low, which makes the ball have to go faster because the person has more reach. You hit the ball high, and you don't have to hit it as fast because it makes the person have to actually go farther over to get to the ball. When you go through the middle, you want to hit that ball fast and low. That forces the person, even if they make it, to have to lift the ball up for you. And when you go for the angle, you want to go for a heavy shot and take pace off. That's usually the guaranteed winner, but it is the one that takes the most skill. That's going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys felt like it was useful. If you know anybody that will benefit from it, send it off to them. Big thank you to Maya for helping me with today. And I'm going to start featuring a lot more of my young high school students and junior players that are about that skill level, so that you guys can see how easy it is to apply a lot of the stuff that we're working on. I will start putting in some of the all-star students that I had that I've used before, but I want to keep it very open so that you guys can benefit from the whole spectrum. But that's going to wrap it up. We'll see you guys in the next one.